Hello, thank you for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the Hangout, confusion about the whereabouts of the abducted pupils of Lagos School. Inspector General of Police and state governors moved to curb the menace of killer headsmen in Nigeria. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Lekon Shote, and Mayor Akinpelu. So if you're ready, let the Hangout start now. It's been 11 agonizing days since gunmen stormed Lagos Model College, Igbonla, in Ekpe area of Lagos State and abducted 6 pupils. Since the abduction, the hope of rescuing the kids has been shrinking by the day. A few hours after they were kidnapped, the abductors demanded 600 million naira as ransom. It was later reviewed to 400 million naira, and now the kidnappers are asking for 100 million naira to free the kids. The parents are rather too poor to raise the money, and the kidnappers have advised them to seek support from state government and school authorities. Ridiculous. But the state government says it will not negotiate the release. For the parents, the chances of not seeing their kids again increases with every delay. It is a quagmire. How would the rescue operation end? It's like being mayor. This thing is getting so lucrative that these abductors discover that maybe the kids of, they miscalculated in terms of the kids of they abducted, and they were thinking that these are very high profile people, and it turned out that the parents cannot raise 100 million, and it's as ridiculous as the kidnappers are saying, go and meet the state government. They want that money so bad.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad because I can feel the pains of the parents, because if government negotiates with these people, then it's an encouragement to keep doing that, because it's not the first time they're going to attack schools in Lagos and kidnap people. And kidnappers have realized that, because apart from this, just because these high-profile schools, they do that every day. People are paying every day. So I don't know how the state government is going to handle that, because if they don't pay, if they don't negotiate with the kidnappers and pay, people will say they are insensitive, especially the parents of the kids. But at the same time, if they pay, kidnappers, they're just telling the kidnappers that, oh, it's a lucrative business, come back and take another set of students.
The Lagos state government will always come to their aid.
Yes. So I don't know how government is going to do that. But I think ultimately, money has to be paid, because what is important is for us to get the kids out first. Then the police can now go after the kidnappers. It has happened in the past. Most of the people that have been involved,
it's always happening.
Yes, most of the people that are involved in high-profile kidnapping have always been arrested, because you need time to go after them. If you go after them now, you may endanger the lives of those kids. So it's a catch-22 situation, but I think ultimately money will have to be paid to those people.
Lekon, I don't know. The Nigerian police, they've shown the capacity that when it comes to kidnappers, they can always track them down. But they've not stepped up their game to the extent that even before the ransom is paid, we've not seen cases of Nigerian police going to busts, and what's the Super Cop Abakari, the special intelligence squad of the Inspector General of Police. So they've not shown that capacity that before ransom is paid, that will bust these kidnappers.
Ayo, when kidnappers have hostages with them, the crackest police intelligence in the world will be careful, because they do not want to lose the hostages. Remember 90 minutes at Entebbe, when the Israeli stormtroopers got to Entebbe airport in Uganda. 3 of the hostages died. Even the leader of the stormtroopers, Yoni Netanyahu, who is the elder brother of the current Prime Minister of Israel, died in the process, in the operation. So it's And I've been following last 2, 3, 4, 5 days. I read that the police located them, but they were hesitant to storm the place. And in the meantime, I think 2 or 3 of the kidnappers understood that I think they know where we are, and they were looking for a way out, and they were apprehended. I think they have to be very careful not to kill those children. Those children are the children of some people, citizens of this country. Every care must be taken to ensure that they do not lose their life. But I'm happy about one thing. Lagos State has come up with a law that says if your victims, your hostages die in your custody, I think it's a death penalty. So that's something that will weigh on their own mind also. And that's probably why lately we are getting hostages alive.
How do we discourage this trend? Because in terms of doing business in Lagos, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of governance, Lagos is almost getting there. But the sore point is these kidnappers coming from the riverine area, coming from the creeks to, paint a bad picture of Lagos.
Yeah, and it's particularly worrisome because you can't say that Lagos State has not done so well to try to nip this whole thing in the bud. They came up with a law to serve as a kind of deterrence to the kidnappers. But you see, as I always say on this program, any line of business with a huge profit margin, people will die to engage in it because they will tell themselves that, look, the risk is worth it.
It's surer than armed robbery.
Yeah. Armed robbery, if you are not careful, they will catch you and give you the necklace treatment.
And you're not even sure of the amounts.
They'll put
you want to go and rob.
put tire on your neck and set you ablaze. So they don't want to take such risk. Kidnapping is easier to pull off because they will hit you where you are most vulnerable. Those schools that they are going after are in far-flung communities, located sometimes in the middle of a forest. So those schools are located close to access to getaways. For example, they can get away easily by boat, and as we've been told, they work in tandem with fishermen in the area. Those fishermen that leak, information to them because this same community that they went to, they've been there before, and they brought security men, they brought policemen to the place. But for them to have come back, they must have sensed that, look, the number of policemen in this place at this time is not sufficient to stop us. They must have sensed that, at this time, security is lax. Let us move in. So someone is providing information. Kidnapping is big business in Nigeria. When Osekome was kidnapped and he paid 80 million ransom, the guy who arranged his kidnap told Nigerians that he had kidnapping cells in different parts of the country, and that he had trained dozens of kidnappers. So he was already a multi-millionaire.
And these guys are graduates.
Yeah, they are intelligent. They know what to do. Remember, even when Kennedy Bangbeton was kidnapped, he said the kind of English that his kidnappers spoke to him, that was really dazed, because these are graduates, who spoke impeccable English. So education, just as education makes you better at what to do, if you went to school, for example, you are most likely to run your business in a good way, better than someone who didn't go to school. Maybe in the area of bookkeeping and all that, you excel over someone who had little or no education. Now, these kidnappers, those of them who are educated, they have the privilege of sitting down and planning such that they can execute their task successfully. All this, so much planning goes into it, and they have education, so they know what to do. They can think, they will ask themselves quality questions. How do we get around with this? Through which route should we get into that place? You know, that is what education does. It helps you to think deeply about your next line of action. So we are seeing now people coming into kidnapping. We are seeing some bright guys who left school, who do not, who have been home, do not have any job. So they are now deploying their talents, their know-how in the area of kidnapping. So the police must now be equipped sufficiently. It is through technology that we can really deal with these people. Because kidnapping people, you can't tell parents not to pay ransom. They will pay ransom. Any parent who values his child, who is in custody of these bad boys, will pay ransom to get the child out.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria, and we've been looking at the menace of kidnapping across the country. I'll take this break. When we'll come back, we'll discuss more. Please stay with us. Don't go away. Welcome back. This actually started, you know, from the Niger Delta, when at the beginning of that agitation, you know, to raise money and to, you know, to raise awareness about what was happening, the militants at that time, the Niger Delta militant, and you know, Nigerians, when they just introduced it, once they introduced it to the Niger Delta, it went to the southeast, and now it's all over the country. Yeah, there was a time Abia was the headquarters of
the capital of kidnapping.
Yeah, I think it's still the Niger Delta. Niger Delta is still the soul of kidnapping business. Like I said, because it moved to Southeast, and the smart people in Southeast decided to take over with. But now, most of the people attacking Lagos are basically South Niger Delta. Especially from Ondo. Because it is convenient for them to use the creeks to attack Lagos, and then take the victims back to those creeks. Like now, according to what I read, was that they moved from Lagos to Ogun Creek. So it's easier, and because when you put people in those creeks, it is very difficult for the police to be able to attack them, because you have to navigate those creeks, and it is easier for them to see you from afar. That is why most times they know where they are, they have intelligence about them. So usually they wait for them when they come out of creeks, because when you stay in the creeks for some time, you still need to come out to restock, to get things, to have good time and all that. And because Abakari and his team, they know where they are. So immediately they come out of that creek, they arrest them, and then they can now give them information about that.
That's how they got that one. The one who wanted, who went to see his girlfriend in the house that he rented for her. They didn't know that they were already waiting.
I have CYRIL. CYRIL is calling us from Cross River State. Thank you, CYRIL. Thank you for joining us. Hello, CYRIL.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, CYRIL.
Yes. Concerning the kidnap case. Yeah, good evening, sir.
Go ahead, CYRIL.
Yes, I can hear you.
I can also hear you.
Concerning the kidnapping of those school kids at Lagos, I am appealing to the state government to expedite action alongside with the police commissioner to ensure that those kids are released. As it is now, the parents are already struggling to see how they can put money together to pay a ransom. And here the state government is asking them not to pay ransom. So what effort has the state government been able to put in place? What are the measures to ensure that those boys are being released? This is about 11 or 12 days now. So please, I'm only making a humble appeal for the state government. I know that our able governor Ambode is a very, serious, hardworking governor. So please help us. Let those kids be released, please.
Thank you for that appeal, CYRIL. Thank you. Yes, CYRIL is appealing that the Lagos state government must, anyhow it is, rise up to the occasion. Is either trying to get to where they are or pay ransom.
If I'm governor, for example, if I'm the governor of the state, for example, the best I could do, because of those kids, I could channel some funds to the parents of those kids. You understand? To pay ransom.
Discreetly.
Discreetly. The governor can do that.
If it leaks,
the governor, yes, the governor has to have a way
scandal.
discreetly to channel some funds to those people to pay. But the government cannot pay because, like I said, if you pay,
The
people know,
spillover
yes,
effects.
you cannot handle it. If people know that Lagos State government will pay them, they will go next time and kidnap another set of people because there are so many schools that are vulnerable and there are so many kidnappers out there. So you have to understand the dilemma. Yes, you have to understand the dilemma of Lagos State. Yeah, it's not as if the government or the governor is comfortable with what's happening or does not have sympathy for those kids. But it's just that you cannot. If you start paying, you cannot stop paying. At what point will you stop?
If you stop paying, you can't stop paying.
Yes, so that's the problem. It's not as if the governor is not. It's not that the state doesn't want to do that, but it's just that they are not in a position to do that. So we have to now leave it for the parents to be able to rally around and pay. Because those kidnappers, they are under pressure already. So they won't collect the 100 million, forget the 100 million. They will collect what they can get. Yeah. Because what they need is the money. So they will collect what they can get.
They don't want to lose out totally.
They don't want to lose out totally. So let's give them what they want. Let's get the kids back. Then we can now talk about how we'll go after the kidnappers later.
Lekon, I don't know. This situation, what do you think the federal government, I don't know the level at the law against this kidnapping. I think it's something, it's getting to a national embarrassment. It's actually a national embarrassment, and the federal government should take it up, apart from what the states are doing.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 weeks ago that a member of the National Assembly was kidnapped.
Yes, a member of House of Rep, yes.
Yes, and he was telling us his experience, that they were even prepared to slaughter him. You know, so it's a national issue, even though it looks like it's more preponderant in the south. You know, the south, southeast, and the southwest. You remember the mother of former minister for finance was also kidnapped.
A ransom was paid.
A ransom was paid.
A very long time.
You know, well, my take on this is that I will resort to what the Constitution says. Section 14 says that the government has the responsibility for providing security of lives and property, and also the welfare of the people of citizens of Nigeria. Now, having said that, you will ask me, what is the outfit that we have on ground? I understand the police force has 300,000 men.
Yeah.
Is that adequate? Now, how about CCTV? You will, I recall...
Let me quickly attend to Taufik. Taufik is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Taufik.
This is the water.
Good evening, Taufik.
Hello?
Yes, Taufik. All right.
Yeah, Jide was saying something the other time. I thought he would conclude it because we were talking about technology. If we have CCTV coverage and they know that there is CCTV coverage all over the state, and I think Lagos State will be able to afford as much as possible. It's a lot of, yes, but
it was done one time, it didn't work.
Gradually,
there was a contract that was issued in Abuja and Lagos.
But no, you can't even, you can't have
those countries that have it,
coverage
have
of
it.
your entire cities. If you go to South Africa, for example, Durban is a city that has
but areas where you have high crime, there's nothing wrong in having CCTV.
No, the thing is, what we are saying is, it's not
red spot areas.
Yeah, but when you are talking about this one now, this is not a black spot area. This is a school located in the jungle. You know, look at those.
We know that the creeks
so when we are talking about
vulnerable right now.
And so now, how do you now put
CCTV in the creeks?
No, I'm serious.
It's just not, because they will destroy it.
It's not even practicable.
Are you going to
I'm saying that,
expose...
Look, even the city of London, it's not the entire city that has CCTV coverage.
It's not, I know that.
Johannesburg, for example, is only a small part of Johannesburg that has CCTV coverage. And crime is still rampant in Johannesburg.
It's difficult to have anywhere covered.
Durban has far more CCTV coverage than other South African cities. That's why criminals would rather not go to Durban. You understand? But where these schools are located, it's extremely difficult to put CCTV in those areas. And even if we have extensive CCTV coverage of our urban centers, they will still identify vulnerable areas
Yeah, because
that they
look
know
for
that you
soft
can't
targets.
cover.
Yeah,
Look
they
at
look for
Lagos,
soft
for
targets.
example.
Yes, they
How
look
many
for soft
places
targets.
you can put it in Oshodi, put it in a few areas, but you can't put it everywhere.
In remote areas.
So even if we want to address this problem technologically, we must move beyond just CCTV. The police must be given the equipment that will enable them to track these criminals in record time.
And also patrol the creeks. If, for example, the naval police, if they are effective around
They have
and about
enough
the creeks,
gunboats.
it will be easier to tag these people, because if, for
Okay,
example,
let me quickly pick this call from Bayelsa State. Oh, we lost it.
because for example, because those guys, these ones that came, purportedly wrote to the school. I don't know how far that's true, but even at that, people will not take that seriously. If, for example, on their way to the hideouts in the creeks, they encounter the police, things will not be easier for them. But it's difficult, because part of the problem is that our Nigerian police is not equipped enough. We have men who are good, we have men who are diligent, but we are not giving them enough tools to work with.
We have more than 2,000 creeks in the Niger Delta area. So it's such a big problem to police everywhere. And the gunboats that soldiers would want to use
Cannot go to those places.
cannot move freely in those areas, because the waters of the creeks are not deep enough. That's why our soldiers couldn't do much when they sent them to the area to stop bombing of pipelines. They couldn't do much. They couldn't even move around. So it's a big problem. But I think that the equipment that enables policemen to track, they have some of this equipment.
No, they do.
They've been successful in respect of some cases.
And I think
but
they've
what we
been
are saying is
working
they must get
Even this
more
one, they know
such
where those
equipment.
guys are, because they have a
they know
very
where they've
effective
said it,
telecommunications equipment. I know that.
they've
They
confirmed
have
that
very
they know where
effective
they are.
Across the
telecommunications.
country, if you
Except you don't
see-
use the phone. If you use the phone,
Yes.
they'll be able to track you.
Yes, I think from all the past...
No matter the, you don't need to change your
GPS
SIM.
technology and all
Yes,
that.
they will track you. But the problem is, if you know that these kidnappers are in these parts of the creek, how do you storm the place? Like I said, because you don't have access. Your gunboats cannot reach there.
Then our highways,
right.
they are also targeting highways and picking people up in their
no,
cars.
highways, yes.
The Kaduna-Abuja highway, for example, if you go back in time, that's where they've been picking most of those federal lawmakers.
Okay.
Yeah,
For the
Abuja-
benefit of those that are watching us through our terrestrial station as TVC Entertainment, you can just switch over to DSTV 418 or GoTV 45. And we'll be signing off from TVC Entertainment, and join us on GoTV 418, that's TVC Nigeria, or GoTV 45, DSTV 418. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. Herdsmen are arguably the deadliest terror in Nigeria today. Over time, they have trampled on rights, forcefully taken over farms, and have been fingered for destroying properties worth millions of naira. But there are indications that their reign of terror will soon be curtailed. Reports say the police have deployed undercover operatives in many of the affected states, have begun disarming of herdsmen, and that of state governments have beefed up security across the country. In Bayelsa State, for instance, herdsmen activities have been restricted to Bayelsa Palm area. In Kwara State, herdsmen are to pay compensation to farmers, and in Enugu State, the state government has employed over 25,000 youths into its neighborhood security agency. With this effort, can farmers safely assume that their woes are over? Jide, I don't know, this measure, is this the answer to the problem of this herdsmen we have?
Well, I like what the Enugu state government has done, because if you remember, one of the deadliest attack by herdsmen in recent times actually took place in Enugu State. You know, so they have recruited 25,000 youths, and what those youths to do is to monitor farms in various communities, As soon as they see herdsmen, storm those farms, they will raise an alarm. So policemen can be deployed to ensure that law and order is restored. Some of us have talked about state police. Yes, there is a fear that state police could be abused. If you know how selfish governors are, they will abuse state police, no doubt about it. But at the rate we are going, we do not have a choice. We do not have a choice. You can see what Lagos has come up with. They don't necessarily have to carry arms. But they will complement the police, the regular police, in every way possible. Provide information.
That intelligence gathering,
yes,
they know the area. They know where the bad boys are.
Deep into communities. That's why Lagos has provided even motorcycles for them, so that they can access even the most difficult communities to access. They access those communities, get information, and then pass on the information to the law enforcement agencies, in the hope that the law enforcement agencies will act on information so provided. So the situation right now is various states are taking action. You can see what the Benue governor has done, no grazing. Yes. Because there is really other countries of the world have banned the idea of free grazing. But we think that it still makes sense for people to be moving freely, trampling on people's crops, and yet we say we want to achieve food security. In communities where the herdsmen have actually killed so many people, you find those communities desolate. People have taken to their hills. They are no longer there, even during the election. So election didn't take place in some Nigerian communities because herdsmen had attacked those communities earlier. So that's to tell you that they are the new Boko Haram. And efforts must be made to ensure that they do not get even worse than this. Because there's no part of Nigeria that they are not attacking. No part of Nigeria. Even River State, herdsmen are attacking people in River State. They are attacking people in Delta State. They are attacking people in Adamawa. They do not know religion. They do not know ethnicity.
They still attack people yesterday in Rivers.
Yeah. They are attacking people in Adamawa, in Taraba, everywhere. So they are a public enemy. And our government, if it wants to be taken seriously and seen as being there to protect the Nigerian people, government must come down hard on these people. In my view, we've handled them with kid gloves for too long. That's why they think that they have the liberty to continue to spill blood as much as they want. It has to stop. States must come together. I'm happy that I learned that the IG has already sent undercover policemen to some communities, where those attacks are common, with a view to reducing the spate of attacks, or probably even banish those attacks. But I think that they need to be, they require iron hand at this time. And government must not waste time in descending heavily on these people and snuffing out the threat that they constitute.
Look, when you look at the way, when you draw a map of Nigeria and you see their spread, you'll be shocked. Even some incidences that are not even reported. That's right. But everybody is bearing the brunt of this herdsmen, and giving them a particular portion of your land, will that solve the problem? Like grazing areas?
In other countries, if you are going to go into cattle farming, you will acquire your own land and graze your cattle on your farm. Even you buy hay. There are people who produce this and then they sell, and you go buy from them. How would you think you would do your business by trampling on the businesses of other people? I think it's unjust. I think it's unfair. And I think the government, not to appear to be on the sides of some tribes in Nigeria, need to come out hard, straight. Now, the development in Enugu State, the development in Ekiti State, where you have young men to complement the efforts of the security agencies, I think you go around the country, such that this, shall we call them neighborhood watch, will complement with information. It is not that you are going to now attack. For example, in the Ekiti State, your cattle must not begin to graze. You can only graze between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. After that, you will be apprehended. Even your cattle will be arrested, in quotes.
And slaughtered.
And slaughtered, you know. And then if you carry gun, this is very important now, you carry gun, in Ekiti State, you will be regarded as a terrorist. And you'll be dealt with accordingly. And I think we need to be very serious about it. The federal government needs to come out very strongly about this. And I've said it several times, even on this platform, that what is the problem that the president cannot speak directly, because the president is a Fulani. The president is also a cattle farmer. He needs, and he's also a patron of Miyetti Allah. He needs to come out. I recall the time Lamadeshino was governor of Oyo State. He and Buba Marwa went to Lamadeshino and said, why are your people attacking my people? Now that the shoe is on the other hand, why is the president unable to speak directly on this? Is it that when he wants to be a candidate, that's where he will speak? Not that he's president, when he has the absolute, total machinery of violence, of state violence at his disposal, he now keeps quiet.
When the People's Democratic Party, when they were at the center, and some other states from the former ACN, they were agitating for state police, and it was like they didn't have enough cohesion to, to muster that out. Right now, I think there's an APC federal government, and we have like 22 states. They have majority, if not overwhelming, in the National Assembly. Why is it difficult to come together to really look at the pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages of this state police issue?
Yeah, I think it's because the federalism that we are practicing is not federalism. We are practicing unitary system, and we are calling it federalism, because there should be state police. Yes, you cannot trust politicians. That, but some people, there's still some politicians, and it's just in this case the federal government that is controlling the police. So if the federal government can control the police, I don't see why state government cannot control police. There should be state police, because every crime is local. Every crime is local, and that is part of the problem. You have to have people who are conversant with their environment, who knows how to go about fighting crime in their environment. And then when you move out of that environment, another state takes over, and then the federal government can now have their own federal laws and federal police. But because we don't have state police, and everything is centralized, you understand? It takes time to deploy people. That's one. Two, we have to look at these S-men for who they are. They are terrorists. That's who they are. Because I can't see somebody who is just to be a businessman, or who invests in running cattle carrying AK-47. AK-47 is an instrument of war. So these people, and most of them are not Nigerians.
Most of them are foreigners. Recently, they carry more than AK-47.
Yes, and the way they deploy violence and what they do, they rape people, they destroy communities. Federal government has to accept the fact that we are dealing with terrorists, and they should be seen as terrorists. That's who they are.
All right, quickly, I'll take my last break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Stay with us. Welcome back, and we are looking at the menace of, we call them militias, Fulani militias, and they've left. It's now a big security challenge in Nigeria, and if not taken care, if care is not taken, it's going to, create more damages than Boko Haram. And do you think our police are equipped enough to take on these people, or we should leave it to our already overburdened military?
And the thing is, if you observe the modus operandi of these guys, they rarely attack urban centers. it is those remote communities that they go to. And
Under police,
those remote
under-
communities do not even have, in most cases, a police post. I saw a community that was attacked in Gwe West, in Benue State. If you see the police post there, one tiny building like that, I don't think that all the weapons that they have to stand up to the enemy could have been more than 3 guns. So they will easily overrun that police post. What they did, they attacked the police post, set it ablaze, chased away the policemen who were there, just set the place ablaze.
The prisoners.
That once they do that, even the people in that community are like a captured people.
Yes.
So there's nothing that they can do. Then they will now run riot within that community, just doing what they like, raping people, killing men especially.
And rescue most times don't come early.
Yes, because some of those communities are largely inaccessible, and even where accessible, they are so far away. They are so far away that before help comes, these guys will have wiped out entire communities. That's exactly what has happened. Where you have a situation in which a community is located like 2 hours away from a major police station. So how do you help? How do you help? Help will come, but it will come rather late. They would have wrecked. Yes, they would have destroyed everywhere and killed so many people. And that's why we've not been able to keep this guy in check. Whether in Kaduna, where they have killed so many people, you know, those southern Kaduna communities, they don't have enough police stations, they don't even have a single military formation. So how do you rapidly deploy appropriate force to go and counter them when they don't even have any military formation in the area? It's just now that they are trying to set up a military outpost in that area, in the whole of southern Kaduna, something that should have been done a long time ago. And it is those things that these boys capitalize on, these terrorists capitalize on, to just come and kill people.
I have John from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, John.
Good evening, Ayo.
Good evening.
Yes, 2 issues. First one, please.
All right.
The issue of herdsmen, I think the prescription is the best for this country. And then the issue of state police, if we really want to separate, is state police the answer? You can imagine if some governors have state police, they can never lose the election, they will never give any inch to their opponent. So state police, we are not right for that. We must accept who we are. That is the truth. We are not right for that because you can imagine if Wiki has state police or I mentioned state police. Or,
okay, yeah. Governor Wiki or Minister Michi.
So
it's not the only, they are not the only ones.
We have not instead of having state police. What we can do, what we could do is that we should train our police very well and increase the number of our police and equip them very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I want us to react to what's just raised.
Because I remember as a little boy, there was what was called local government police. And then there was the Nigeria police. The local government police were always wearing khaki.
Yeah.
And I think it was in 1964 that they were phased out.
Yeah.
Yes.
1964.
Yes.
During the colonial era, that was the thing.
So the point is this, that it did not stop the federal government. It did not stop the federal police from carrying out its responsibilities. As a matter of fact, I remember as a little kid, my impression of the Nigeria police is that it was an anti-riot squad. And the local government police with their khaki would do the regular policing that the London police would do without carrying a gun. What you saw was their baton and their wide-brimmed shorts and their stockings and all that. They had one-on-one with people. They were regular people that you could relate with. It was when there was a riot situation that you will now have the Nigeria policemen in their trousers with guns and then will suppress the riots situation and all that. So for me, there is no reason why we cannot have state police. There's no, I strongly believe we should have state police.
I want to align with that. I sincerely believe that we should have state police.
What John is raising now, that
No,
we have some governors now
no, it doesn't
that they
matter.
don't have some maturity.
We will find a way around
if
it.
they allow
as time
them, and I
goes
saw
on.
Jide nodding his head at the point in time
we'll
that
get
some
around that.
characters
We'll get
right
around
now,
that.
if they allow them
We'll get around that because what you are going to look at, you're going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of having state police. Imagine if there is state police in Lagos, and the amount of money that Lagos State spends on security, I mean police, Nigerian police, they have an effective police force. And they have forces deployed to the areas in Ekpe, manned by people in Ekpe. It is even possible that before you attack Igbonla, some people will have known that this thing will have happened. Because you have employed people from that locality who works as policemen, and they are manning those areas. Part of the problem is that people that are fighting crime in Nigeria, a lot of them do not have. It's not every time that you have an exceptional cop like Abakari. Abakari is an exceptional cop. How he does it, I don't know. But it's not easy for you to be able.
We have him all across the country.
But you see, but the problem is that Abakari cannot be everywhere. Cannot be everywhere.
I have Akinola from Jos. Adiola from Jos.
Hello.
Diola, thank you for joining us.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Diola.
All right, I'm here in Ainiza.
How are you allowed?
In Ainiza.
Godianiki.
Diola, speak English. Speak English.
About the issue of this estimate attacking, I think the best, I would suggest the other governors should employ what Adegbeshola did in Washington when he came on board. Along this Obaba road, the estimate used to attack very well there. And as soon as he assumed office, he deployed policemen permanently to that route. And he was able to clear them away.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. We're talking about the
State police.
Yes, desirability and the workability.
Well, I'm convinced that we are not ready for it. If I know today's politicians very well, they are going to thoroughly abuse state police. Governors will set state police against their fellow politicians. We've seen even this same federal police that we are talking about, they've abused it in the past too. Because I hear that, the federal police, they've abused it in the past when they will go and pick up strong opposition elements on the eve of elections and lock them up so that they cannot do the legwork for their party. They did it here in Lagos. That is why, after that, subsequent elections, Tinubu and others ensured that people could not reach the leaders of the party, in Lagos State, because they knew that those leaders, they will come for those leaders. So they made sure that those leaders went underground so that you don't come and start arresting them on the eve of election. This is how we abuse good ideas. Local government elections are totally won by governors. I remember even Oshomole saying that INEC should begin to organize local government elections because they already assumed that, well, as the ruling party in their
That state independent electoral commission
belongs to them. That nobody, any election conducted by SEC must be won by the ruling party in the state. It's the same way that they are going to set policemen that they recruited, that they pay against innocent people. And even during the First Republic, historians continually talk about how the local policemen were used to deal with people like Aminu Kano and the rest of them. You ask them, those who were they thoroughly, people like Aminu Kano, Gambo Sahaba and others were thoroughly dealt with by state police at that time, the local police that they were calling them. They would just go and pick them up, lock them up. You know? So we know that state police could be abused. But we've reached a point whereby it is very, very desirable that we complement the police. Nigeria has probably the lowest civilian population to police ratio in the world.
Yeah.
We just don't have enough policemen in our country. So if state governments can move quickly to come up with alternative or even security agencies that complement the police, it will be fine. I hear the House of Assembly members in Lagos complaining that the neighborhood watch, or the neighborhood agency, or what was it called, that they created, because it was the Speaker of the Lagos House of Assembly that came up with that bill, that the neighborhood agency has not been, the effect has not been felt at all since it was created. And it's true. The effect has not been felt. Where do you see them? Where do you see them stopping crime or even raising the red flag about crime in Lagos? You don't even see them at all. And this
one just
yes, and it was launched with fanfare. But all these things are happening, crime taking place here, crime taking place there. We are not seeing anything that neighborhood
especially what is going down in Ikorodu axis.
Yes, we are not hearing
Bado
anything.
boys,
Bado will come, wipe out entire families
family
and get away with it. We are no information of any sort about how Bado boys can be tracked. No information about the movement of these kidnappers.
That's why you need state police.
No, but with this is what Lagos has created is another form of state police.
No, that's nobody watch. It's just no.
So what are they doing?
Because they are basically intelligence gathering outfits.
Have you seen them walk anywhere? Did you see them?
When was the last time you saw them?
When was the last time? Since the day of their launching.
I've not seen them.
The last time I saw them was
that was the day when some of them were taking selfies and all that. After that, we've not heard about them. That's what the assembly is saying. That we set up this group, but we cannot even feel them.
Yeah, we can't
moving forward, Mayor. So, if we are to nip this kidnapping, so we are going to we desire to have state police.
Yes, I still believe so. I believe that the best way to go is to have state police. On them, if we cannot have state police, the Nigerian police should be more equipped and then should be able to be on top of their game, because part of the problem is that the ratio to deploy police to these areas is not because they are not well equipped. I believe that we have very good policemen. They just need to be supported. And the government is not supporting them enough.
The final submission list?
You mean on state police? Yeah. I'm still for state police.
Okay.
And I strongly believe that, just as Mayor said, every crime at the end of the day is local.
And Jide is challenging the Lagos State government to just look at the operations of this neighborhood watch.
We want to begin to feel their impact.
Yes.
It's not enough to launch something with so much fanfare. We must feel their impact. We must see them work.
Their commanders, their leaders.
We must feel them work. Let them give us information about movement of dangerous boys in our communities. They should spread them out across Lagos. So that whether they are Bado boys or kidnappers, we need to be able to track their movements and then provide information for the police to take action.
And that's a wrap on Journalist Hangout. I want to thank you, Mayor Akikbelu, for bringing our guest today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, Lekon Shote, for also coming. And Babajide Kolade told you we always be here. And for those people that expected us maybe from Kogi, then Kogi
yes, I heard that one funny character actually posted some stuff that is good for us, that those boys on
Journalist Hangout,
they've been kicked out. Some people were also phoning us asking, I hope you are not affected because we are enjoying your program. The funny characters who think that we will be kicked out of our jobs. What we can only tell them at this stage is that we are going to be here for as long as we want. And that thing that we are doing, that they are not happy about, that they want us to be sacked,
the government,
we will continue to do it.
And your governor should perform.
Their governor is an absentee governor, because I no longer openly address him as my governor. The absentee governor should begin to perform. After that, we will leave him alone. But to now wish that we are among the 145 who will be asked to go is just plain wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking.
The height of mischief.
And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Bye for now. See you tomorrow. God bless you, Nigeria.
Come on,